Hello, happy Friday. It's drshermnae coming through with a word. So I'm assuming, or I know that most of you by now have heard about DMX's passing. And I've been seeing a lot of mixed feelings about it. I've seen a lot of people that have been upset about it and, sending him well wishes and rest in peace. And then I've had other comments that I've seen, and some people are like, oh, well, so what? He was just a drug addict. Or, well, good, because he had 15 children and, he did this to this ex-wife or this to that woman or this, whatever. I'm not here to debate the issues that was going on, the things he did, but rather talk about how the symptoms of the things that he did came from things that he did not heal, that he had gone through. He had a very, very traumatic childhood. He was abused. He was, basically going in an orphan. He was basically an orphan at one point. He just had a really rough childhood, and he talked a lot. He talked about it, but then he didn't talk about it. So there were certain things that he would mention and that he would say, but then other things he wouldn't say. And I'm assuming that probably some of those things were just too traumatic for him to talk about. But some of the things that he did talk about, you could literally see him crying. To me, I could literally see a little boy crying, especially the interview he did, I believe it was in November. And he was talking about how an older man that was in his 30s that he respected like a brother. He loved him like a brother. He looked up to him. He said he didn't have any brothers. This man, turned him onto rap, but also created his addiction, because he gave him, marijuana that was laced with cocaine. And I don't know if you have people in your family that have addictions, but addiction is hard. Addiction is a very hard thing to endure. It's hard for everyone. It's hard for the person who's addicted. It's hard for the family. It's hard for the friends of the person that's addicted. It's a very difficult thing. Someone that was very, very, very near and dear to me had an addiction and struggled with it. And, I really don't know if you ever do recover all the way. It's like you're always battling. You literally do have to take it day by day. Sometimes you have to move moment to moment because the temptation is always there. So addiction is very, very hard. And, for those of us with a science background, we know there's a chemistry that's at play with it also, but it's a lot. Addiction is a lot. And a lot of what he was going through, he was attempting to self-medicate through the addiction. He started at age 14. You all know the brain is still developing at age 14. Things are still trying to get in place. So it was just awful. But he would talk about how, he kept a lot of things hidden. He would try to block things out and block it out until eventually you run out of space to be able to block things out. And that is very, very true. And not just in his case, but in other people too, in women that are, kill their children. My heart does go out to them also, because there's something that was going on. At some point, those women were crying out for help or trying to get help, and they couldn't get the help. It manifests in different ways, but you have to heal those things that have happened to you, or they're going to keep on repeating and repeating. One thing for sure, the lesson is repeated until the lesson is learned. If you keep all of this stuff hidden, you keep it bottled up, it's going to manifest in ways that are unimaginable. You never know what you might do. You don't know what could happen. You have to heal those things. Thank you, Nicole. You have to heal those things, because if not, it's just going to keep adding and piling and piling and piling. And at some point, the top is going to blow. And there's no telling what can happen. You have to find ways to Just talk about it, find a therapist, find a friend that can point you in the right direction for some professional help. You have to heal these things. You have to talk about them. You can't just leave them hidden. You can't pray them away. Some people hide in church, and yes, church is cool. I'm good with church, but that's not the end all be all. Certain things you need professional help with. You can't just, wish it away. You can't pray it away, and in his case, he turned to addiction to deal with it. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to food. Some people turn to alcohol. Some people turn to sex. There are all kinds of addictions that are out there. And, when you are dealing with issues that keep coming up in your life, you have to, at some point, find a constructive way to deal with those things. And that's, part of the reason why I became a life coach, is because I do see these things in people, and I do genuinely want to help, because there's a lot of things going on out there. There are a lot of things that went on in my personal life, things that I've shared, things that I will share in the future. But I couldn't deal with all of these things alone. There was just absolutely no way. And besides things like, addictions and things like that, they can cause other problems too. Hypertension, there's heart disease, cancer. I lost one of my nearest and dearest friends who developed cancer just from stress of just things that she was going through in her life. And she really didn't have that much of an outlet to let things go. So my word for you today is, whatever you are dealing with, please do not deal with these things alone. Please contact somebody and just talk it out. Even if you just call someone to just talk about it, maybe that person can help you. Maybe they can help you find help. But whatever that you are dealing with, please get help. Talk about it. Let it out. Do not hide it anymore, because when you hide these things, all you're doing is hurting yourself, and ultimately you may pay the price for that. Well, that's my word for today. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.